the tablet. All right. I don't think that'll go up much higher, but maybe a little more back. Almost. It's good enough. Mark these. So, my wire box. But I had a wire box. No, it was just right there. That's all it is there. Alright, so that one has a slice on the bottom. And can't be having that for something that, well, it's just wire. If anything's going to fall out, it's going to be a little piece here and there. Like that stuff. I got to put all that, for the most part, in a box to separate with a lot of this stuff. But I can either put all this wire in that box. That's too small to worry about. Those are going to be likely gold plated. So these I'll tend to those, you know, those the steel. There's just a little board in there. I don't think it's really worth it. It might be more worth it to slice it open and get the fingers in there, because that's just going to be a little circuit board. But as for this, same thing. That's only going to be a couple. This was for a mouse. Chances are that's not even gold plated. That's a brass tip. So all that, a lot of that stuff I'll deal with at a different time. This chunkier stuff. Thought I had the, but no, it's not going to be too much trash. So these can and most likely will be copper. Then I have this big box of all this steel. A lot of it's smaller. But these just need consolidated down. It's nothing really, nothing too surgical today. Just reminds there's a dog outside again. Yeah, those are fan connectors. So those will probably just be copper. Circuit boards. That's all I'll do for that. any of this like really thin stuff here will just get tossed in circuit boards. Because I did all this to clean up the space. That's for a USB. Chances are it is gold plated. I will find out sometime. So those are brass. Not worried about that. So when it comes time for me to go through the cords like this computer cable stuff, no, because that's just a real, and most of it's going to be optic. Not going to be much of anything in there. But the good, at least the thicker known copper wire, that'll be in a different bin when the time comes. All right, let's see. It looks like I can. Right there's a little weak point. Yeah, that moved a little. I caught you talking. I got you. No. Guess I was imagining things. So that is something that will just get separate, like these things here. That will just be broken down some other time, just added to the box. Could have airplane mode, and I can jump on YouTube since a few people, at least me, I like me, and two others. So I've watched other people who micro scrap and stuff and go through like all the little outlet ends and or the plug-ins and so I don't know why that live is not showing the picture I wanted to, the thumbnail I wanted to. All right, well, this tablet is fully charged, so any chat. Yeah, I do not want this to play in HD because that will burn that up real fast. I don't need to watch myself in HD. All right. Circuit boards. Those are probably going to be brass on there. I don't think it'll be worthwhile now to even really think about it or attempt it. Yeah, it's just gonna pull that. So that'll just be complete copper cable when the time comes. Probably brass or copper on that, or brass or gold. We will find out sometime or another. See, things like that, I think that would be worth that extra bit of time. But most of these, so you're not going to be able to get that out with that. I wouldn't be too worried about for me. If it's not easy to cut or detach with the screwdriver, That, let me just go with the copper. That is brass. All right. So one way I thought. I have one more. Yeah, so that is, it moved quite a bit. But I'm not going to struggle with that for that brass piece. That's when I'll set out in the sun. Just set it out there when I need to. Little brass points here on that. I'm not going to worry about that right now. See, that's easy to cut. These older ones here are probably easy to pry out. They might be in a vise, but that'd be just burning time to get an extra half a penny. Getting the chunk of all this is the main thing. All these little kitchen appliance cords. SATA cable. That's for audio. And it's strange that we're looking at a coil. I don't think, because I only bought these for my neon, but this part right here of where this bolt is and the main coil right here on the Ford Escape cracked and the coil came shooting out. So my wife calls me. So I drive like 2 blocks up the road. She calls me. I go up there. She runs it, and what it sounded like when it was on the phone was like the car trying to get through bad gas or sugar in the tank or something. It's freezing cold, so it could have been just moisture in the gas. It's freezing, and then the ice, the gas doesn't flow as right. So I go there, and she starts it up. I'm like, nah, I know that sound. And I pop open the hood, and I look, and there's the coil sitting on top of the valve cover. I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. Put the coil in, kind of push my finger away from any sort of circuitry, pushed it down, had her start it up as quiet as it should be. Let go of it, goes boop, pops right out. I'm like, yep, that's it. So I have the old ones because I replaced the ones that are in that with I don't know, some better standard or some better brand that has a higher, less resistance and a little higher output. So I have the extras left over for reasons like I just talked about. But this one's bad. That'll be like a motor. Actually, I'd probably crack that open sometime when I get more into it, when I have the better tools. That way it'll be taking up that less space. Cool story. I'm glad I shared it. Okay. Well, I'm just going to go in there anyhow. I got so much of this. Probably there's another gear with brass on it. Okay, good. So I got one of those back. Got two of them back. Oof. Oh, that's all electronics. That one feels like it's loose a little. So there's still plenty of room in there for little circuit boards and other clippings of stuff. This has got stuff in it. This might be big enough I could probably crack that case open. I can peel this part of this. And I can probably, no, I'll just have to wait. So this one will, that one will. Some of these are just going to be a little too challenging for me to handle right now. So yeah, this stream is not going to be long. So I need that's glass that would go down, that'd be a problem. Something for the non-magnetic. Unless anyone comes in chat, I won't be doing much talking. I'll just be concentrating on the separation here. When someone comes in chat, says hi, says jibber jabber, I can do that. Cause I can turn back time if I could find a way. I'll think back those words I hurt you. You say another one. So that's good wire right there, that connector. It's good gold plated. These for a power supply, most likely going to be gold plated, and any of the modular cables are most likely going to be gold plated at minimum. Okay. Come here, rat's nest. SATA cable. Warning, warning. Oh, go there. Nice chunky chunks of brass and copper and a switch. There might be a little bit of like brass, but this is mainly circuit boards, motors, copper, that stuff. This is all steel. Since these USBs are they're gonna be steel and probably just copper tip. Might be brass tip for the contacts. Look at that later. None of this is being cashed in anytime soon. I'll probably keep adding to it as the consolidation and organization efforts are more underway. But as of now, this is just a bunch of electronics and just pieces, parts, and stuff that I had. A bunch of pieces, parts. Refer to the other 3 or 4 live streams. Me going over taking the stuff apart. And I just need it more organized before I really start setting all these containers away and put them back where they need to be and find a box for that. And I'll have this here with the wires. So bunk, chopped up wires will just go in there, and then when the time comes and I need to separate the heavier wires for this breakdown, I just have a big box of scrap. I know that I would just have a big box of scrap circuit boards and wires that would just need to be separated some more. And, like these coils could be chopped off. This is probably going to be silver and some at least brass contacts in here, but probably silver as well. This is a controller's, like a controller switch, a manual controller switch. Some decent resistors in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 band resistors. So this was, it was pretty good for what it was. This was, what did I have that had those dials on it? This was not that that radar detector. I forget what this was. Oh, this came out of a old Panasonic, like 1970s radio, AM/FM radio. So there's 2 coils in this, and iron on that bar. So I don't know how much like old boards like this sell for, but if you chuck, get your 8 cents of copper right here, and this is older. So most very, very, very much likely from me watching the micro scrapping channels, especially Scrap It All, the older ones are most likely almost always. I mean, really, when was aluminum being invented for cost efficiency in electronics? It wasn't in the 70s. So I have, let me move some of this stuff. Probably won't need that. I can go over there. That's more electronics. A couple other smaller things I do want to dissect down a little more. These things. There's a couple things I can't, and I'm going to spend some time on trying to get these screws under here detached. So this whole thing will slide out, and I can finish taking these apart, and whatever these are, I mean, it's a steel core, and this is, but these teeth are sharp, 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 sharp. That's a paper shredder. The motor that came out of that's, wouldn't be in there. That's just all the loose. So I shouldn't need any of these. I got the batteries down here. I don't know if that's a battery. And it's not something I want to start hammering in. It is magnetic, but not by a whole lot for its weight and size. Not by a whole lot. A mercury switch. Some batteries I will test. I got a little collection of button batteries in here. I will test because those are just always good to have for whatever. Actually, I had to buy a button battery for my key fob because I couldn't find any. Here we go. That's what happens if I would have taken all this apart a while ago, right? I wouldn't be telling a story about me running out of button batteries. All right, so I'm going to need this. I might need one of those to start pulling some stuff apart. And this is going to be steel. So I have some magnets in there. Oh, those ones I probably should have, because those are steel and those. Oh, I'll worry about that. Worry about that when that time comes. All right. And this right here is mostly clean, whatever metal it is. That is that's what I've taken apart the past few days. That is that buried my magnet too. I thought I put it over here. Oh, it is. So this is all the loose stuff. Some is obviously aluminum. So I have a whole box down here that's just storing all the and some of this stuff I will try to continue to take apart just for entertainment purposes. Steel, a little bit of copper in there. So that I could probably just do this. Little copper, steel. This thing here, steel. Aluminum man. I know that's steel. There's a lid right here. Okay. I know these are steel. That is. That is. That is. That is not, but I don't know. May have to just try to snip it. That's some strong steel right there. It's good enough. Solid steel weights. Steel backing. I think that's from the laptop. That I'll try to take apart a little later. I just my little take apart later thing. All right, so this is aluminum all aluminum. These fittings. I've had this multi-tool for 15 years. They're not steel, and they're very light. They might actually be aluminum, because all I have to do, this is a backplate for a graphics card. No. They're steel. That is. Well, I'm not going to tear all those out right now, that's for sure. Steel, aluminum, aluminum, some sort of zinc aluminum. Brass, aluminum, some more. I have to take apart some more. Brass or some sort of zinc aluminum painted that color. I lost a little, gained some, but it's still steel. That little bit, no one's going to cry about. This, wow. This one and this one. It is magnetic a little at the middle, and it's steel. That one I got to take apart a little more. Okay, now that's steel. This is intended just for the much smaller pieces. Aluminum. Won't worry about that too much now. Computer. steel, sharp, steel. Minus this O-ring. I mean, this one should do it. I'm gonna go aluminum. Aluminum. I mean, the stainless. Aluminum. This is lead and steel, but there's going to be brass in there, but I'm not going to take that apart for the brass. Lead, 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 lead. It's enough. Brass. Steel. Steel. That is. Those might be aluminum ends, but don't worry about that. Peter. Brass. Steel. Brass. It looks like a heat sensor. But, oh. Either way, chunk of aluminum. I think that was actually in a postal scale. More of these. Now we'll just go on circuit boards. So this, yeah, it's got to be weighted aluminum and probably lead. Lead and aluminum, because this is heavy. Back in at least this foot might be lead in there. But either way, it's not conductive is what I'm after. Yeah, if I were to do any more than just this and maybe a few other minor things, I got to get some proper tools. Some angle snips, cutters. I mean, I was just doing it in steel anyhow, so solid bronze, brass, steel. So this and this is brass. This is steel. That's something I have to deal with a whole other time. No O-rings. It's more aluminum. So this is going to be extruded and probably machined. I mean, it is machined, but it is extruded, and they just machine it down. And so things like this. Finish turn that one down. I mean, it's a little bit right there because that's where a magnet was. I don't think it's aluminum. It could be just straight up stainless. It's not magnetic. Anything that's not magnetic goes elsewhere. Anything that is magnetic, I'm just let that stuff accrue up to a couple 100 pounds when the time's right. Go say Cellionera, go sell it. Whenever. So solid brass pen. Now that's residual right there. Brass. Brass tube for an antenna. Oh, you can't see that. This has a few more pieces parts on it. I want to try to get this motor out, put that in there. Pewter or aluminum. I mean, it's doesn't have like that feel or consistency of pewter. Brass. That's a fine stainless. Put that in there. I had the proper setup. Aluminum, brass, aluminum. If I had the proper setup, you know, when I'm taking stuff apart, I'd already have these little category bins. And then on a hot summer day, would you offer your throat to the wolf of red roses? Yes. On a hot summer day. Some brass keys. But on a cold winter day, if you're a collector, nice piece of shiny brass that came off of that clock of that pooter thing I just showed you. That needs individually processed down. Sucks, but it is what it is. On a hot summer day and the bees burning. Fuck. And listen to your heart, no holes turn. I see your shooting star going through your trembling hands. I don't really help much. Licking your lips and your lipstick shining, and I'm dying just to ask for it. So this is one that would have to be to try with the limited stuff that I have. These are not going to be. This is a heatsink for a graphics card. There's a 488 gig. And it was playing Mr. Artifact Man for years. I had it for years. Figured out the whole graphics card rage. Yeah, that's one. Better tools. We'll get that apart. I mean, you can sit there and take each of these leaves off, these pins. And then you would just be down to this pipe. Copper is pretty malleable. So in the meantime, some nice clean copper. Almost. So those and these can be solid. So I don't think you could just easily, like, you got to pop these out one by one, I suspect. And then you're going to have to start getting over all of these lips, and then you're going to be all the way stuck in the middle. So that's something just for another day. Yeah. That's just going to be a little piece of stainless that I'm not going to tinker with. But aluminum. So we have those from that big wall outlet thing. There's some thick copper. It had to be thicker copper to dissipate the heat from having a 4 outlet plug thing and then 2 USBs on it. So compact size, you have to have thicker copper to be able to absorb the heat that all those wires are producing. I know that the other one wasn't that. That is. Reminds me of what was that? Arnold Schwarzenegger on the Mars. Total Recall. Swipe here for more. Like I am the all of a sudden guru of scrapping. Just started. Took apart a bunch of stuff I already had. I was otherwise stuff that was sitting around, junk. Listed on eBay for a while, years, never sold, didn't work, whatever. Just small stuff sitting around, taking up space in a time when I'm wanting to consolidate. No bueno. Got in the way. It's time to get that stuff out. So that might. It is. I don't think it will work like this, but you know. And I knew it. And it's barely. That is steel. Some things, these little things, I don't know. Brass. Yeah, most of these are going to be brass. These little disconnects for keychains. You have to be able to take that constant wear and tear, and they don't rust. Brass doesn't. I don't think brass does rust. This is a battery for an old vape that was all stainless and brass. So I have those batteries and stuff. I mean, it has a little because of this. Those batteries, I'll just go take up to like AutoZone or Best Buy or something. Most of them are laptop batteries and device batteries. Enough. So that's going to be brass and stainless. So I have to get the right ones in, get the wrong ones out. Because an angel of mercy sin on before. That's mostly all brass anyhow. It's not like I'm cashing this stuff in today. That's all. Aluminum and I think it's all aluminum. What are these called? Quibs? Dibs? The tips of pens? Quibbits? Yeah, I mean, that's heavy to be brass. That front, though, just feeling that, I think it's like a polished aluminum. This came off of a, I don't think it was a Waterford. It came off like a good pen, a good brand pen. But it just, like that cross one I took apart, just no one fucking wanted it. That is the extra bulb. Yep. Minus this O-ring, I think. Yep. Aluminum from an old, like, pocket-sized mag light. I gotta take that apart. Yeah, if it's a little magnetic screw, really small, if it gets picked up and it's all the way away from everything else, it's got some steel in it. You gotta watch with a lot of these little washers. All right. So this stuff here, brass, aluminum, fall right there. Let it all kind of build a field. Now I can get to the good stuff. Not really. Just finishing breaking down a bunch of this stuff here, and yep. Little bits pieces of trash. This. So I think these are just cinched in here. And so then this would probably be solid aluminum. This is steel. It might all be steel. It's either solid brass or solid aluminum. It's silver. Nice little 2-3 ounces, solid aluminum. Steel. Steel. Brass. For a couple keychains. Couldn't sell them for $10, but it's $1 worth of scrap. But who knows what the value metals will be in a couple years. Anything in there is going to be from a ball bearing. Yep. That one works for me. That was a little different. Probably magnetic because of what's in there, the core of it. No. So it's this little piece of steel right there. That's your new home right there. That. Solid brass. Brass pen. Painted brass. Solid brass. Brass. Chunky. Steel. It's all steel. Most of this other leftover stuff is going to be steel. But each of these coins is brass. Chain is steel. So, first off, the tag and the clasp are brass. Yep, brass. And so these pull them just right. The steel ring should just bend. I got this actually right before Queen Elizabeth died. Figured it was sold for costume or cosplay or commemoration, something. All right, well, that's steel. Just me again. That's gonna be brass and steel probably. Get the battery out. What's after? So that's pretty much that separated. There is a steel, a little bit right there. This, these little things. I micro do this until 10, maybe. Another battery. So I think I completely stripped that down. I mean, they can't be that strong, right? They're just little screws. It's working. Get them loose enough. I mean, they feel like it. No. If I can get a bit in there, it'll come out a lot easier than with that. It's pretty tinker with doing that. And waste my time doing something else. It's going to take more time, but it's not worth the time. Efficiency. But still, that really wasn't worth it to do that, huh? That's all steel. I don't think those screws are anything special. Those are barely, but they are. It's all steel. I don't know. I have a no. And these are little motors on here. So you're getting just a steel price. Circuit board on here. There's more value than just this toss. And just tossing that in. I'm not going to try for that. I mean, that's just plastic. Which April 14th, 2007. I expect that to. And then that's riveted on there. Yeah, so that's all motor and circuit board. This is motor and brass. Brass. Motor. I don't know if I want to try with that one. Because I think that's all. What a brass right there, I can't get off. It's all going to be. I'm going to be shred anyhow. Only thing I got to get is this, which I could probably just do that. Steel. 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 Motor. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's steel. Motor. Steel. This one right here. And yeah, that'll be it. Oh no, that grinder thing. These are for optical drives, optical computer drive or PC. Brass. Motor. These ones look like little star bits. I don't think they are. They might be. If it'll work, that's all I need. Motor circuit board. Plastic. Since this plastic's going to be easy to take off, steel, junk. And then this thing right here. C. Those can be separated, right? Now, no, that's going to take a long time for that. So the best to go there's only certain angles you can get in there. Yeah, if not, that's just going to go in as all steel. Yeah. It's nice and cozy right there. So this, put these in. That's junk. Well, that's all I know I need to do is cut right there now. Is that brass worth the bite? No. Trash. So, go with that. I'll go with that. All right. Oh, these. Yeah, see, I want to make this like 2 hours. So these are the last little bits that I have to figure out. So I know that this is glued on there. It's glued on there. See, that's not going to be enough bite. Oh, something moved. There it goes. Best tool right there. Clean aluminum. The next conundrum is getting that. One way. No. See ya. I mean, it's all clean in there, except for that. And that's just going in as, that's a chunky piece too. Because whatever's holding this thing down. That's not moving. There's a set in there somewhere. It's probably going to be underneath one of those holes. Aluminum. I don't think. No. Yeah, that plastic is. That one is crammed in there. I think it goes the other way, actually. That one's about shot. Looks like it moved it a little. Nope. Well, I don't think these were coming undone. I don't know. Make sure I can get the other one. Oh, yeah. All right. This came out of an old Morocco shaver. Solid aluminum head, and this is a pretty good surprise for a beginner scrapper. If you're a seasoned scrapper, like, oh yeah, I love finding old Remington beard shavers and face shavers. I didn't know, but there is a good chunk of aluminum, good chunk of copper. good chunks of brass. This is that came in handy. Not what it's intended for. So I'm just worried about these springs, right? Steel, steel. This, I could probably just snap it, right? I'm gonna figure that'd be steel. That'll come out with ease. I'll take it, but if not, brass monkey. No. Well, it's steel anyhow. Steel. And that's the whole thing. That's going to wrap that one up. So there's a rivet right there. That is steel. Okay. That's all steel. This base is aluminum is what I'm after. So all I need to do is get free. Be free. Freddie Mercury. Steel. 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 That's it, folks. I just gotta figure out how to consolidate it down into a little more somewhere else and keep little stashes on shelves and tend to box them up later. But that's probably 30 plus pounds of maybe 30 pounds of miscellaneous non-magnetic. This is all steel, and that might be about the same. That might be less. That's probably 30. And then on the circuit board and copper and wires, some more steel, a small box of wires, not really a whole lot of like thick copper wires, but for just stuff that was sitting around that was junk. I spent way longer doing this, but it was the learning process that, this seems to be like something that I can, when the opportunity is there and where I live, and if I happen to see something that's easy to pick up and bring in, especially if it's brass or solid wood, all that stuff, just steel if you want to accrue it, if you want to keep accumulating it, but all the other stuff, circuit boards, I may not be the super best, but if you get, there's at least $2, $3, $4, $5 of redeemable metal value minimum on like smaller things. So makes sense to me. Just gonna wrap that up. I am almost pretty much done with this fun little side project. Appreciate it.